Can you see that? Okay.
Yes, we can.
All right, there we go. I'll put it in slide. Well, do you see all my settings too, or no, you just see the PowerPoint?
It is now just the PowerPoint.
Perfect. So yeah, my name's Diane Weinbrandt. I work for the University of Cincinnati. And I just am grateful for this opportunity just to share some of the work we're doing at UC in terms of creating access to STEM career pathways for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So it's kind of neat for me, just about me, like I started in the field as an engineer when I started my career and then switched to special education, and now I feel like both my worlds are colliding, so it's kind of fun. So what I hope you will obtain from, or my objectives for this presentation are just to recognize that there are inclusive post-secondary educational program options for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities in the US, and they are growing steadily. And then just understand some of the things we're doing at UC to help broaden the pathways for the STEM workforce for individuals with IDD. And so I will refer throughout the presentation to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities as IDD, individuals with IDD. So this is, and I apologize, it's a blurred image of the Think College logo. So over the past, well, since like 2008, legislation has supported, created Think College, which is a national hub for post-secondary programs for individuals with IDD. And we've grown from about 60 to almost 300 over the last 12 years. So you can't see it, but if you go to thinkcollege.net, you can see the work they're doing in the different programs. You can search, and there's tons of resources, and just list all of the programs that are currently existing. So, and so at the University of Cincinnati, we have three programs. We are called Advancement and Transition Services. So we specifically, our mission is to foster quality of life experiences to help develop employment, independent living, and meaningful relationships for individuals with IDD through research, education, and service. And so the three specific programs we have are CEASE, which is the Collaboration for Education and Employment Synergy, where we serve approximately 60 young adults still in high school from about 12 local high schools in our area. And they come to campus and engage in unpaid internships on campus. And then we have the Transition and Access program. We are a post-secondary program for individuals with IDD where students live on campus. It's a 4-year program. They take university courses and they engage in paid or unpaid internships, just like any other UC student looking to improve their employment outcomes when they graduate. And then we have Impact Innovation where, the high school program, we serve about 60 students. In TAP, we can serve up to 40. We have about 25. And then in Impact Innovation, we serve about 23 individuals each day who are more significantly impacted by autism, so more significant, complex sensory and behavioral challenges. And we serve about 23 individuals, and they come to campus Monday through Friday from 9 to 3. And across all these programs, employment is a factor in improving employment outcomes. And that's where I come in. My job is job development. So, so we recently just began looking at opportunities through meetings with faculty and other team members for STEM. And so STEM is an acronym for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And the Bureau of Labor defines it as STEM employees utilize their knowledge of these subjects in order to help further their understanding of the world and solve problems. And currently NSF is trying, STEM careers range from non-degree certificates all the way to PhDs. And the National Science Foundation right now is working to expand STEM pathways for underrepresented populations, and specifically where our focus on is individuals with disabilities, and more specifically intellectual and developmental disabilities. And so our vision is to create an alliance around the nation to develop STEM pathways that will systematically address any barriers, and then utilizing and identifying and utilizing evidence-based practices to help make these pathways possible. And so we're really just in the initial phases and really defining what STEM is. It's sort of unclear between NSF and various fields, and but establishing hubs around the nation to create, through the post-secondary programs, to create these options. So how we began this work is NSF offers, NSF includes grants, which we've applied for. We've received a planning grant, which will be used to create an alliance, which would build that national network. And then we also have applied for a grant through Mitsubishi to create some other job opportunities. I won't go into the details because I know we're limited on time, but some examples would be like creating positions for research lab assistants, or it could be like specifically developing spatial skills and using CAD design software, and just sort of job carving some of the jobs that are out there that would align really well and resonate with our individuals who like that structured tasks and routine tasks that could be carved out of current STEM fields. So just to go through some of our efforts. So one thing, we work with our engineering faculty, and one of our faculty developed a spatial thinking course, and it's designed to help specifically engineering students to develop spatial thinking, which it improves obviously their engineering skills and their problem skills. And so we are modifying this course and have taught it to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities for the last year and a half, and are finding very positive results. So that's one of the things we're working on. And the idea is that we would help individuals develop those skills, and then they develop the spatial thinking, and then that would lead, and then access the 3D software, and then that would lead to a career pathway with a company like, for example, Siemens is who we're partnering with right now with the NSF, the NX software, and where our individuals would have the curriculum, they would have internships to learn the software, and then working for the company with the goal of long-term employment outcomes. As I mentioned before, we are also working on the University of Texas actually has a program right now where they've hired a research lab assistant who has worked for them for years. And so again, that would be something we could do in Cincinnati, where we would have a lab assistant position where individuals could intern while they're on campus at our various labs, and then go out into the field when they graduate or when they leave our programs, and be engaged in employment in that pathway. We also work with the United States Geological Survey, and it's called a step-up program. So we scan various files, or we will listen to, one of them is listening to like frog calls, and they listen to recordings for scientists and identify if they hear certain species. So we help the scientists with their work to either scan their files or document, help them further their research. And so our students are learning, being involved in these science activities and developing skills of their interests, which could, again, develop skills for long-term employment. And then also the University of Cincinnati has received some grant funds from the U.S. Department of Labor, and we are working on developing IT apprenticeships and what we call Co-op 2.0. So it's a cooperative educational opportunity specifically for the individuals on campus in our programs. So these are paid internships to develop IT-related skills and engage in internships, which again, the goal of long-term employment. And then we also have internships on campus with our biology department, where again, we're scanning and documenting plant specimens for researchers. We also have students who will work in the greenhouse and again, help our research efforts there, but then can go out to use those skills and generalize them in the community to for their employment outcomes and their vocational goals. We also have the Cincinnati STEM Network, where local faculty, we had a group of faculty, we had local educators, families and individuals and employers who came together and just talking about what are the barriers and what are the facilitators for individuals with IDD accessing STEM career pathways. And so that is what really began. We've had all these initiatives going, and then that STEM network where we brainstormed and identified those barriers, is what began our initiatives to apply for the NSF grants and really look at how can we not only do this within the Cincinnati community, but with the Alliance grant. The goal of an Alliance grant is to create, our goal is to create 4 hubs around the nation. We have connections with the Think College organization, which is the national hub for all post-secondary programs, but then we have partners at Washington State University, Vanderbilt University, Ohio State, UC, and then we're looking for another partner so that nationally we have these geographical hubs where within our programs we can create these pathways that will and define what the key or the blueprint, what are the key components that each of our programs need to have in order to help address the barriers and create these pathways for the students that we serve. And then, as part of that work, what we've done is we've surveyed the post-secondary programs and interviewed programs who are currently involved in STEM career pathways. We had about 52 survey responses and 6 interviews. There are about 14 programs around the nation who are currently engaged in some type of STEM work for individuals with IDD. There's not a lot going on. And so really that's where we're at now, is sort of piloting ideas in Cincinnati and then reaching out nationally to see what others are doing, to see if we can collaborate and again create the blueprint or the components that will facilitate these career pathways. So, and then our plan is also to again engage our local employers in just learning. This group, individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, are one of the lowest, have the lowest employment outcomes of within people with disabilities, like anywhere from 16 to 30%, depending on what survey or what research you're citing. So we're really working with employers to sort of shift their that stigma and increase their disability confidence and figure out, well, why aren't you hiring? And just sort of shifting the paradigm, the thought of getting outside of the box of, to be quite honest, what we call in the field food, filth, and flowers, where individuals with intellectual and disabilities are just hired for certain roles, and there's like a ceiling or a limitation place, like this is all they can do and that's all they're capable of. But what we're finding is that, there's so much more and there's so many opportunities. It's just a matter of again, discovering those facilitators and what are the systems and the accommodations and the modifications that need to be in place to create these opportunities, and how do we systematically address it and get those in place. So that's really what I had, was just wanted to share kind of, this is what we're doing. I would love, if you want more information or if you're engaged in this type of work, we would love to connect with you. And so let's see, I don't have I can type my specific email in the chat, but this is like our website within UC, and it shares opportunities and how to connect with us. But I will type in the chat my email.
Yes.